Na 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 na.
Welcome to Zero Hit Points, everybody. It's June 18th. Probably. I'm Ryan Miller, and he's probably Matt Ambert.
Probably.
I don't know. I don't bet on anything anymore.
Yeah? No? Are you giving up on that game?
Well, here at Zero Hit Points, where we talk about games, the game we've played most recently is What Day Is It? I don't know. Because we've talked about how the schedules are in flux.
We're fluctuating.
So I feel like every time I edit the thing and it's like, it's June 18th, which it's never happened before. It's the first time I've ever said that. And it's like June 19th when I'm doing it. And it doesn't matter because we recorded it a day early anyways.
Inside baseball.
So what are we even doing? Like, should we just say the day that it actually is? Because who knows when it's going to come out? Or should we still pretend like it's Tuesday all the time?
It's a really good question. I have never really understood any of it. I've always been of the opinion that we could just say this is the week of and go with it from there.
That's another good solution. In fact, I think that might be it.
Yeah, because
for next week.
I've never thought about that until right now, but I think that's now that I talk about it, I think that might revolve. No, it could resolve.
Resolve?
Yeah,
okay.
Good.
I do like the idea that you just every week when I say it's June 18th, you lose a day immediately and then have trouble figuring out the rest of the week why.
It does happen occasionally where I'm like, wait, it's not Tuesday. Why?
But we could lose an entire week this time because we're doing E3 Part 2, which is like a week old.
Yeah.
So in classic Zero Hit Points fashion, let's go back to a time when people spoke of E3 2019, and most specifically, so last time we did, what were the three shows we did? Microsoft,
Bethesda,
right? Might have been it.
I feel like there was one more, wasn't there? Ubi?
We
didn't do
recorded
Ubi,
on Monday, as
today.
mentioned, which was the day that the PC Gaming, Ubisoft, Square, and Nintendo shows, or Direct in that case,
happened. It was EA. That was the other one, I think.
EA, which we didn't mention.
No.
Which actually, hey, I feel like you wanted to mention. There was a game that... so the way we're doing these E3 shows is that we're just mentioning the stuff that's grabbed us individually. We might skip a whole bunch of stuff. You might be like, I can't believe you didn't talk about this thing. And I might be like, yeah, I don't know what all I have to say about it. And that thing might have been Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that, actually.
Okay,
that's
as
so
long
funny.
as we both forgot about it.
Yeah, no. I do want to say this. It looks cool, and I'm looking forward to hoping that game is not sucky.
And that's why we might have skipped it.
There's just not... Like, the gameplay that they showed looks great. It does. It looks terrific. It looks exactly like kind of what I want a Star Wars game to be.
Yeah, and I'm more excited than you are. I just don't like. Number one, it's reached the status of I'm kind of just not paying attention to it because I'm going to get it anyways.
Right.
And the less I'm not necessarily spoiled, but overloaded by a normal marketing cycle, the less that happens to me, the better.
Right.
So I kind of just it's my favorite game.
You know what? I've already given it Game of the Year. I don't even remember what it's called.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
It's a lot to unpack.
Because I keep my colon in order.
That's right. Don't disorder it.
But this week, it's the PC gaming show, Ubisoft, Square, and Nintendo, like I mentioned. Except for that, I don't have anything from the PC gaming show. So I don't know if there was something that tickled your PC fancy. It's titled My Favorite Magazine. Having to do, forget PC gaming, PC fancy.
Because in my head, it's like for some reason, you know why. I jump back to the 70s and it's a very orange like background and the script is that very like bubbly script. And it's somebody with like really feathered hair standing next to like an Amiga,
Still features a lot of cats.
Yeah, well, and there's cat fancy already. Yeah, there's like Meow Mix and Morris the cats there. It's great. Fritz.
Morris the cat. I recognize that name and can't even visualize the poll. What are you even
Morris the cat was the...
no. He was Frisky's?
I think it was Frisky's cat, yeah.
Mascot? Okay.
He was definitely a cat food cat, Morris.
Plumbing the depths.
My idiotic mind.
It's 0 hit points.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Idiocracy.
Let's definitely do that.
Oh, no, wait. That's on Thursday we will.
Book club for movies.
I had made a note. Yeah, sorry.
And that'll be next week, but we'll get there.
Oh, the movie. Right. Yes. No, I have a reference wherein Thursday we do a TV volleyball 2. I have a reference to Idiocracy, the concept, not so much the movie.
Oh, yeah. Terrific. I'm looking forward to that now. Anyways,
built it up too much already.
What are we talking about? PC gaming.
PC gaming show. Is there anything you want to talk about?
No.
I could run the list for. I don't know. Nothing grabbed me. I'm also not a PC gamer, so I don't know.
I don't. I got nothing. Okay. Let's go to Ubisoft. We got things to talk about.
I'm glad we got
Ubisoft.
to the bottom of it at the very least. Yes, Ubisoft was next up.
Nobody plays PC games. We've talked to Microsoft about this.
And Adam.
I was going to say, and Adam. Adam doesn't even know what PC stands for. Let's calm down about that.
How do you want to do Ubisoft? Do you want to start with a showstopper or stop with a show starter? I don't even know what that means.
Wow. I'm very confused. Here's how I'm just going to throw this one out.
Okay, you go. What do you got?
So here's what I did. Okay, I have on accident actually seen a good majority of the trailers here. I didn't watch all of them. I didn't watch any more of the. I've not watched any of the other conferences like at all. I watched the Xbox one, and that was really the only one I had time for.
So Ubisoft is what you got.
No. I got no.
You're like in charge of it. No. I understand you perfectly. You are the boss.
Matthew Yves Guillemot Amberg. That's right.
This is your thing. No, please.
You are accurate. I'm going to jump right here. I want you to tell me, after we both had kind of interesting histories, I think, with Watch Dogs, we both felt pretty good about parts of it.
Right. Arguably the big announcement of show here.
Right. So let's just jump in there because that wasn't the Ubisoft thing of the show for me. So we'll get there, and I'm important. So what did you think of?
This is your thing.
Watch Dogs Legion. I don't know why I got something there, and I think I'm gonna try to get to a Jimmy Stewart thing here.
I can't tell. That's okay. I wondered where it was going. I'm like Jimmy Stewart. It was Walken-esque just because everything is at the beginning.
Something happened. I don't know.
But then it got to Jimmy Stewart. Okay.
I Watch Dogs.
Who's watching the dogs?
If I'm over here, who's watching the dogs?
I went Betty Davis.
Start shaking.
Who's watching the dog? I don't even know if that's Betty Davis.
When our dog, when our boxer, we had this long. There's a long story behind it, but our boxer for a short time had seizures and shakes, and after a while, we were starting to kind of work on stuff and figure things out. There's just so much you can do with it. My wife started referring to her as I think Betty Davis. Is she the one that had the shakes? I think it was either Betty Davis.
I think that's where I went. Yeah. Which dog? Now that I know them all.
Ilsa, the boxer.
Personally, oh okay. Oh, that's right. You only have one boxer. Yeah. I know them. I just don't know their races. I don't see race is my thing.
Maybe that's your problem. I don't like F1. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't like NASCAR. I like F1. That's where I go with it.
See, I thought you were referring to your Frenchies at that point. I thought you were just calling them F's your first Frenchie.
That's right.
Also, Frenchie sounds racist. Is that?
Well, no. It's
Frenchie.
It'd be. I think frog is if you're going to try to.
Ooh, whoa.
Yeah, but I don't.
But you're referring to your pet frogs, though.
Right. Well, its name is Frenchie.
It all comes back around. Watch Dogs Legion, what do I think? I think the promise of that game is fantastic.
And
it makes sense, coming from Watch Dogs 1, which we played and enjoyed for the most part, even though, the ending was complete garbage and there were definitely some things that needed to be improved upon. Watch Dogs 2 arguably did that, even though I haven't played it. I've heard plenty that it is the better game. They made the right changes and did some of the good things there.
Yep.
It makes sense to me that Watch Dogs 3 isn't just another better Watch Dogs 2.
Sure.
I love that they're in the concept itself, I think is the fantastic part. I think it's where all the promise lies. It is, and again, I haven't played Watch Dogs 2, so I don't know how well the franchise is tackling issues like this now. It's not apolitical in the way that Ubisoft likes to pretend like all their games are most of the time. The trailer features, it mentions people in cages, really ripped from the headline stuff, and then talks about a game that it takes place in London. Apparently it's under siege in a lot of different ways, and talks about how to take the city back, how to rise up, using, not just one Superman, not just an Aiden Pierce or whoever the dude, I think Marcus from Watch Dogs 2 or whatever it was. I don't know how foregrounded he was. Again, didn't play it. But that they could take all this and do something quite meaningful with it, and with, situations like this. I think the promise is just everywhere on this game. Like, I don't know that I have the faith that it gets pulled off. It's like, do we get a Far Cry 5 in the end where that had huge amounts of promise and just completely, like, Far Cry being a franchise that maybe didn't justify those expectations, but still you got excited to see where it would go. Watch Dogs, I feel like more so, like you can hope a little bit more, but I don't know, that's still tentative.
Well, you have got a point here, and I have a hard time trying to dull it down. No, I think you're right in all those respects. I think it's funny because the very first thing that you said, like where my and was the what you stated at the beginning was it has all this promise, and it's what we said about the first game, and it did have all that promise. It didn't quite deliver on it, but it was a really enjoyable game for what we played out of it. Yeah. Totally dug the concept. Same thing with you and Watch Dogs 2. That was one where my biggest issue was I did not want to deal with the Assassin's Creed of the Assassin's Creeding Part 2, Rise of Glory. I didn't want the Assassin's Creeding of Watch Dogs to, and it would have been like if I played that second one, I know I just would have been like, yep, everything. Oh, yeah. It just would have bugged me. I never would have gotten around it.
That is exactly what Assassin's Creed has been. It's been a better one of the last game,
right?
Forever and ever. I mean, yeah, they've made quote unquote meaningful changes to combat and stuff like that recently. Like there's some talk of all that, but again, I haven't played them. And again, I don't think it's as different as going from an Aiden Pierce or Marcus to a group of people. Like
sure.
Yeah, you're playing a group of people,
right?
Essentially.
Yeah, no, and that's really exciting because if I can find like, okay, this has a couple of interesting implications. The implication, one of them that I really like is assuming Ubisoft does what you'd expect them to do. This is kind of one of those cool moments in gaming that is going to maybe go a little under the radar if you're not thinking about it. But it's the fact that it's going to be one game where potentially every single person in the world has somebody they can identify with in the game to be the hero. Right? Like you're going to have people of color. You're going to have people of different races. You're going to have all that different stuff. You're
going to have a retired assassin grandma.
Yeah. Why not? If maybe you're retired assassin grandma or you're just regular grandma who wanted to be an assassin, I think that's really, really cool. And I hope they're able to keep with it's one of the things for me, I guess, with that in particular is if they can do that and they can manage that and that can work, I hope that they're able to do that like classic thing where you've chosen your character and they are able to map that character to the cutscenes. So whoever you are in the cutscene when it happens, that's who's in the cutscene. Like it doesn't change. You know what I mean?
I would hope so.
You would hope so.
I want to say Watch Dogs did that with the customizable stuff too.
Like I don't remember.
It would bring in whatever you dressed as,
which is great. And if that's the case, I think that's one thing that is super, super novel and very cool and could be a very cool thing. Like I'm going to keep my eye on this because I do want to jump it's like Assassin's Creed is something I can legitimately say I will almost certainly never go back to. I will probably never touch that series again with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. I know what needs to be done before I'm back in.
See, and I just don't think I have
don't see that happening.
I don't have the want for it.
Assassin's Creed lost me when they ditched the story, and I know this happened. I think this is when Patrice Desilets got fired or whatever happened, and they kind of just ditched whatever his grand design was or whatever.
Right.
Like the when it was going back between Desmond and Ezio and whoever.
Altair.
Yeah, Altair, and was leading towards what seemed to be a modern day. Like Desmond becomes the assassin in modern day, and you're playing that game. Like everything pointed to that. They were leading towards that, and then at some point they just like they killed Lucy, I think was her name, and everything was like they basically just ended that storyline. They're like, we got to start over, and this is where it's done. And they never got back to. Not only did that feel like we don't care, it uninvested me in everything from then on out. So if they want me back, I feel like they need to do something like that again, not just a this is never going to end thing. Like tell me a trilogy again or something like that.
Yeah.
But Watch Dogs, I know there's no way we can get back to whatever you were thinking.
No, we definitely can. But Watch Dogs kind of could fall into that same thing. The difference being here is that we're not having to go back and forth. It's not leading up to you don't have that kind of story. But I do think the story could potentially, and this is one where if I do get the game, I will probably want to go back to YouTube and I'll YouTube the cutscenes and the story for Watch Dogs 2 if they link up, and because it seems like they kind of should, right? Like these all seem like
at least
they should
a little, but yeah.
Like I mean, some way it's they have to be. And in that respect, that's awesome. Give me a trilogy. Give me that. I love it. I am in the same boat. I don't want the one-off game that just leads to it could be a sequel, but it's not. But it could be, but it won't. That. Right. I don't want what I think everybody thought Watch Dogs was going to be modern day Assassin's Creed with technology. I don't think it's that. I think it's different, but I don't want them to do that story-wise. That would just be the worst thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they've also promised, there are Assassin's Creed references in Watch Dogs 1, even. I would imagine that might be 1 or 2 and 2. They share the same universe, according to them.
That's cool. You want to do something with that? Great. Watch Assassins? Yeah. Assassin Dogs? There we go. That's it. Assassin Dogs.
You nailed it on the second try.
That's it. Assassin Dogs. No humans. All humans are bad. You are dogs. Game over. I win. You get to pick your breed.
There's actual dogs. Okay.
Yeah,
this was like a colloquial.
No.
Assassin dogs.
No. They are. This isn't like Ghost Dog. It's not. Okay. Yeah, it's not like a bunch of Forrest Whitaker. Which, by the way, why is there not a Ghost Dog video game?
I can think of a few. Why is there not a Jim Jarmusch video game? You're wondering?
I know why there's not a Jim Jarmusch video game.
For us, why isn't there? You're saying the two people that would buy it.
Yes.
Have you seen the preview for his new movie?
Yeah, the Dead Don't Die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie. Jarmusch does zombies now.
He does. It's got Tilda in it, so I'm very interested.
And Murray again. You knew that. Though.
Yeah, Adam Driver. I mean, there's a bunch of people in it, but I see Tilda Swinton. I'm like, all right, gotta watch that.
You do. Thursday. Yeah, I'm excited. Watch Dogs. I've been looking for an excuse to get back into Watch Dogs for sure. Yeah. I never even written off Watch Dogs 2. I feel like I would have played that. I think more nowadays. It's just again, we're gonna mention always time, but. For open world games specifically, it's like I feel like I gotta pick and choose them, Right,
and that's one where I don't know that Watch Dogs 2 iterated enough to take that spot from something else, but
iterated enough to be good. Like I'm sure I'd have fun and enjoy the game. Yeah. We enjoyed Watch Dogs 1
for sure.
There was no way I was going to play that instead of Red Dead.
Right, exactly. Right, and Legion here could be the one where you go, all right, you know what? This is the one that takes precedence. But we're just going to have to...
It's got a new hook. It's got a better hook. It's got a mechanical newness to it that I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Pull this off. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's not be it.
I will never forgive them for the 5 years they released games that wouldn't operate very well.
I will never.
Very well, I said. Generously.
I will never forgive them for somehow screwing up Tetris. That is right there where you have, as a company, lost every ounce of any respect I could give to you. I just can't. You
make a bad Tetris game, you deserve what you get.
Yeah, and you didn't just make a bad Tetris game, you made it bad and never fixed it.
Also. Also.
All right.
You're right. We should get angry about this again.
I am mad about it. I like Tetris. That could have been a good Tetris game, but no.
You play Tetris 99 after this.
You silly Ubisoft and yak heads. Okay. So let's keep cruising. There was some stuff about, Rainbow Six, whatever. It's cool. How about how do you?
You play Rainbow Six, don't you?
I do, and it's really good, and everything they've put out has been
Okay.
good. So it's just whatever.
Well, did you? So speaking, are you speaking of what they talked about, Siege, or are you speaking about Quarantine? Actually, just so I know what we're glossing over
Siege.
here.
We'll get to Quarantine in a minute. You know what?
okay,
Let's hit Quarantine too. Oh, Quarantine. Okay.
Quarantine 2 is out
They,
already.
you know, they bam,
Dang
bam,
it.
iterate. Got to iterate.
How
Go,
would-
go, go. Yeah, Rainbow Six Quarantine. I didn't watch the whole trailer for it. Like I caught part of it.
As a teaser, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
is
well,
it
okay.
just-
There's another one where they speak with the design lead, and she gives you a little bit more. But
Okay, what is it? Is it? I assume it's either zombies or it's battle royale.
it's not battle royale, and I hadn't thought about zombies, but yeah, you might be close. It's a 3-player cooperative. It looks like it's going to be born from some Siege event called Outbreak, possibly.
It's gonna be zombies.
But this is called Quarantine. It's a standalone thing, 3-player co-op PvE. So they've done their best to get me to play Rainbow Six, and it might happen with this thing. I don't know if this thing especially is like bite size that doesn't have like service hooks that go on forever. I could be very into this for sure.
Yeah, and that's knowing that. I mean, yeah, I'll probably check that. I'll give that a look. Out of every video game that you could ever get into online as a game where like that's the one where if you were like somebody that liked to play PvP, that's the one I'd be like, dude, you have got to get in on this. You have got to try it because that freaking game, man, it is a ton of fun. It is so much. It is.
I like everything I've heard about it, and I think they're leveraging that smartly with Quarantine. Like they're bringing in some of the operators, like
which you got
kind
to.
of
You got to
pre-packaged characters in a way. You know, they've done some great characterization with all those operators. Which how many do they have now?
Oh man, there's a bunch. There's
a ton.
I want to say there's over 20. I think at this point.
Yeah, at least I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they bring you see them in the trailer. They're helping the guy up with the wormy hand.
Worm hands. He's the man's.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, but let's jump forward here a little bit. Tom Clancy action. I don't care about the Division 2. Do you have anything to say about that? They had some more
No,
stuff?
in fact, I don't have anything for the rest of the show.
Oh, perfect.
So.
Great. So, did you watch the Ghost Recon trailer? The teaser?
I watched the first half of it.
Right. Very long. Great. You know, huge fan of John Bernthal. Good guy, I guess. Seems like a cool dude.
I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not really a huge fan. I like the couple things I've seen him in. He's good. I like the guy. He's
We're on the same level.
Yeah, he seems genuinely cool. The things I've seen him in, I really like him in. This was not great.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, yeah. Obviously, I stopped watching halfway through, but I didn't know if that was because it wasn't great or if it was just rote. You know, like they're
and also rote and mediocre at best.
I just knew what they were doing, and it wasn't telling me anything about the game. It was just like get invested in the story, and I'm like,
yup. And there was no way I was getting invested in that. It's just not going to happen. The only other thing I do want to mention about the Ubi thing was actually there's two things. One I think is really funny. Rob McElhaney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia came out and
did he? Really?
He did a presentation. I'm not entirely sure why they did this, and that's not true. I know why they did it. And he did he's doing a web show on Apple TV Plus or something, and he is playing the creative director of a game studio that's making the biggest MMO of all time, and so they worked with to make the show and get it as legit as possible.
I did hear about this.
They worked with Ubi, and Ubi provided a whole bunch of information, and they created some assets for the show for like video game stuff. So they brought him out, but it was such a weird thing for them to bring out for a TV show. Like it's nothing to do with the game. It's just a TV show.
Yeah. What was the?
And the hook is that the hook for it was just that he worked with them to.
He didn't announce anything. They didn't use him for a game.
They announced the TV show.
Wow, that is kind of
really weird.
Yeah. What that reeks of somebody at some point during this process being like, hey, do you want to come out on the stage for E3? You know, I can't imagine he would have requested this. They probably were just like, hey, would you do this for us then also?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Keanu thing. You know, Keanu wasn't like, hey, can I go to E3? And they were like, yes, you can. Where would you like to be? Well, I like Microsoft. Yeah, that's not how that goes. Somebody was like, "Hey, Keanu, we've got a dump truck of money here. Can you come to E3?" It's like, I don't need the money.
Keanu thing made way more sense.
Yeah. It was funny. It was funny but weird.
Hey,
anyway, so
you got to see that guy.
The
Rob
McElhaney. I like It's Always Sunny. But they had a game that I thought was really novel, and I really, really want it to not suck. And who knows? We'll find out. And
high bar, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
What you got?
Roller Champions.
Oh, right. The roller
Champions
game. What was the roller derby?
Derby is
Yes.
Yeah, I get kind of this like Rocket League vibe from it, where it's like it's got some of the colors a little bit, like it's got that kind of those Rocket League-y colors, which I don't.
Okay.
They're a little brighter than I guess you normally. I don't know.
Sure.
But it's
yeah.
There's a feel to that game, like you watch it and you know what it is, you understand it right like immediately, and I feel like roller derby is kind of that, and it kind of has that feeling. It may not be immediate in the I understand all the rules here because there are some funky things, but that looks like it could just be a stupid amount of fun if it's taken care of and curated. I'll get it. And
like Rocket League.
That's it. I like it. It looks very novel, and I've
heard a few people talk about it.
I want to see. I hope it's good. I have not heard anything about it.
We hope games are good.
That's 0 hit points.
That's a thing that we do.
Anyways, that's all I've got for Ubisoft.
Okay, all right.
Ooh,
the next one up was Square, and
boy was it.
Outriders. Maybe if you're curious what People Can Fly have been up to. The Gears of War Judgment. Actually, were they the Painkiller folks? I don't know. They played a game that everybody loves forever and ever and ever.
Bone Storm.
But then they did Gears of War Judgment.
Bulletstorm.
Bulletstorm is where you're going. Yeah, It was their most recent entry there. So
Bone Storm.
They're not nobodies, and you liked Bulletstorm.
I did. Buy me Bone Storm or go to hell.
And this is a new IP, so
I like it, man.
Maybe. Not the thing I'm sure that everybody wants to talk about.
What is it?
The Avengers game?
Is that what we want to talk about? I didn't know that. That's
the big headline from this one. Honestly, I have nothing else but that. So
really, not the Final Fantasy VII remaster, or whatever it is, or remake. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about it too.
I mean, I'm kind of curious and might pick. I missed the first Final Fantasy VII. So
yeah, if you never played it, you should like that. That's a tentpole game. Totally worth your time.
But would I play the remake and not just go back and play the original? Because I'm the guy that likes to know history.
Fair enough.
Type thing.
Yeah, I don't
know.
Don't know.
Whatever.
Whatever.
I'll be curious to see what that game does to everybody. But no, the Avengers, they finally came out and started talking about it. There were plenty of kind of leaks before. You know, the word has been going around that it's going to be a services-based game for a while now. That's something, you know, I guess our feelings on services-based games are well documented at this point. And
yeah, that's going to be a very dependent thing before I even consider. I need all the information before I even consider downloading it, because especially if it's going to be services, which means are they going to do free to play? But yeah,
it's the world we live in. Whether or not, you know, I'm trying not to rule games like that out anymore on their face. And if any of them are going to do it, it's probably going to be the Marvel one. So whatever. I was more interested to see how the quality was turning out, and they did a trailer, and I want to say there's lots of pieces. People got hands-on with it all over the place, so you can talk to some of them. I've heard the gameplay is maybe the least remarkable thing so far, but also they don't have a lot of it on display. We didn't get any of that, obviously, us. We get the trailer.
Yeah.
So, did you watch the trailer?
I did.
It's a trailer. We're in Avengers.
I thought you were just going to stop.
No.
It's a trailer.
I probably could have. I don't know. It's not bad. Like, I've heard people rail against this thing. Like, I saw some rough spots, but I saw some rough spots from the point of view of an editor, you know. So I try not to bring those into everything we talk about.
But you should.
Well, it was mostly cinematic. There were some real quick flashes of gameplay in there, and I think it was put together well. There were just a couple instances where it's missing some audio at the least or something. I don't know. Again, I don't want to get bogged down in that. Crystal Dynamics making the game made the most recent Tomb Raider reboots, and those were great. Like, I think the reboot went really well. I've only played the first. I need to play. I got the second queued up, and we'll probably play the third, even though it's supposedly not the best of the three. But I believe they can make some, like just that pitch, right? Crystal Dynamics, a Tomb Raider reboot-esque game that's Avengers. Yeah, sure.
All right.
They haven't done a services game before, so I think that's where, we've seen that kill games. Mm-hmm. Anthem could have been probably a darn good game if it was a BioWare classic type thing, but the services hooks, arguably what kind of killed a lot of that.
Among other
things. That's what the game was going to be. That's what they were building, so whatever. But this trailer was very much story heavy.
Yeah.
And they are very much trading on the movies, right?
Poor decision, in my opinion, too.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I think the character models, I'm with everybody that thinks they look garbage. Those are terrible models. They look awful.
Really?
Yeah, they look awful because you can tell. You can just look at it and see, well, you're trying to make it look like Chris Hemsworth. You're trying to make it look like Chris Evans, but you don't have the license, so you're going to change it enough, and it just looks bad. And then I am also not a fan of, and this is just my own little thing. I didn't like most of I don't like Thor's costume that they use there. I don't like the way they've drawn them.
You are a Thor expert.
Apparently.
I now myself don't like it because you've said so.
Absolutely. There you go. No, I think that that trailer did nothing for me in terms, I'm not excited for it. I'm not against the game at all, but I have nothing for it, other than I think that was a bad trailer, and I don't think they should be trading with the movies. They should have gone with the go as far away from it as you can. Go the opposite direction. Don't get voice actors that are trying to sound just like the movie people, because that's what they're doing, and it doesn't work. It's just bad. For something like this, it's just bad.
I'm glad that we have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 to kind of bounce off of.
Man, I'm hoping.
Well, no, because that's the complete opposite direction that I think you're talking about. And I wouldn't say that this should be that. Ultimate Alliance 3 is going to get a pass in a lot of different areas. Like the story and that thing probably isn't going to be fantastic type thing. There's probably going to be some silly one-liners that were in the first two Marvel Ultimate Alliances.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody is saying, I don't think you're saying that this game should be that. We have that, but I think it's an interesting thing to have concurrently.
Yes.
Because they can't go all the way in that direction. They could arguably go a little bit more, but where's the halfway mark? I feel like that would be more awkward. I watched that trailer, and I get, because it's that slightly off thing. We're at the arguably peak of Avengers-ness after Endgame, right?
Right.
It's never been huger, and those characters are those actors, right? And this is a realistic take on that stuff.
Yep.
Did not get the likenesses, did not get the voices, so it's different. It has that just off feeling to it, but that doesn't kill it for me. I can get over that, and I think I would, 30 minutes into the game or so. I'll agree. I think it makes it hard for them for sure. I think a lot of people will see that and be like, no, I don't like it, when really what they mean is it's not the movie.
No, it's off-putting is what it is. And it's not,
But is it off-putting because of the movies or because of itself?
It's off-putting because of itself, trying to look like the movies. Like I get what you're saying, that they're trying the more realistic look. Sure, okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But you can't try to make them look like the movies, and that's the problem. Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. How do you decouple yourself from that without being a comic, without going the Ultimate Alliance thing? Well, you don't. You have to lean into it. And if you don't have the capital, you don't have the money, you don't have the way to get those actors to do the voiceovers, or to, at the very least, give their likeness for the game, for the visuals, that's a failure to me. That's not, you have made an absolutely a poor decision, because you're aiming for them to look like that. Fine. Go a different direction. You don't have to have it be a comic book. Change who those people are. The comic books have been written for decades. You can find a different version and make them more human looking, And
you know what? I wouldn't even pin all of this on the character design. I think it's part and parcel with the world almost. Like you're right. You watch a Marvel movie, you know that's a Marvel movie. It's got a very, whether it's by color or tone, maybe something like that. Like, you know, right, that there's a cohesiveness to it. With this, you're right. I can't grasp an identity just yet, and I'm getting too highfalutin here.
No, this is exactly, no, you're hitting it on the head, man.
Okay. No, I'm doing it perfectly.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. But yeah, like I see all the action, and it is like there's nothing super special about it other than it's these characters. And
right.
Okay, all right. Good examples of this, and I don't think they necessarily could have done this either, but you've got the Arkham games, right?
Yes.
Where Batman is, although this might be a plus or something they could have learned from, Batman arguably has been done more than the Avengers in more areas for longer type thing, you know?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Now that I'm
but Batman isn't done to death, man. Like, that is everywhere.
For
he's
sure.
been everything. Yeah.
Batman has been in the zeitgeist for 30 years.
Yes, yeah.
Like, he has not been unknown. Whereas the Avengers, yeah, you can argue Captain America maybe, because it's kind of one of those like there's a there's a term behind it. It's not just the character. It's okay, Captain America. You know, it's Captain America.
Right.
You know, you get that, and I think that maybe the Hulk kind of gets a little bit of that too, because again, it's one of those. He's such a bombastic character. But I think the only other Marvel character like that is Spider-Man. You know, maybe
sure.
Wolverine, maybe Wolverine.
Okay, that might be a more recent example with the Spider-Man game. But it's similar in how the Arkham games handled it. They're not a comic book, but they're not like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Right. Yeah.
And where that was especially interesting was in the world they created, like Arkham Asylum. Like you could compare that game and BioShock, right? Oh,
man.
Like, that's how tightly that world is spun. And with the character designs, like, you wanted to see what the next Rocksteady version of the Rogues Gallery was, right?
That was so exciting that after the first game and seeing, I remember it was it's that opening sequence in the first game where you're walking down the hallway and they're bringing people out
in the asylum.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Like, that was unreal. I was so excited. And I loved that. And it wasn't just like, another thing I think about that too is it wasn't just that, it was that Batman was such a good, the style that they did for him and everything, it fit.
Yep.
He looked realistic, but like nobody else that had ever been Batman.
Yeah.
Ever.
And the Spider-Man game, you could say a lot of the same things about that.
Absolutely.
Even though that went pretty comic booky, but I think you would for Spider-Man, although it might have more in common with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Anyway, this game, while I get a little bit of that, once they bring in some of the bad guys, I am interested to see how they create those bad guys, because that's one thing that video games can do, is they can give you some of the more fantastic bad guys.
Oh yeah, that's
whereas in the movies, they've been very careful about who they portray and who you see.
Like, the odds of us ever seeing like Mojo in a movie.
Exactly. Or MODOK also too? Or we're talking about the same one?
So no. Mojo and MODOK are different, but MODOK.
One of them was in the trailer, and I can't remember who now. I think it was MODOK.
I watched the trailer last week, so I don't remember. It was probably MODOK.
Mojo. Oh yeah, Mojo is the fat dude with the pokey fingers.
Yeah, from Dimension X.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
In any event, those are my reservations about that trailer so far. I'm not down on the game. I think I'm still excited for it, pending whatever their services hook is.
Okay.
But you're right. Like, there's not quite an identity to it yet. And if they're just going to trade on you're playing these characters, I don't know if that's going to be enough in the face of Ultimate Alliance, which exactly knows what it's doing.
Right. And has pedigree behind it. People know what they're getting with it.
Right.
Yeah. No, I am not dead on the game by any means. That trailer did nothing for me, and I can't say I'm excited for it. I need to hear more. I need to see more. The services stuff is going to come into play. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how whether if it's Ultimate or not.
It's May 15th, 2020. So you've got till then at least.
They've got a year to unscrew themselves. Yeah. Figure it out.
And if you think they're going to hit that date, I've got news for you. Last one of the day was the Direct, Nintendo's Direct. And I should be excited about Contra Rogue Corps.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones which I guess Super C and what was the other one? Alien Wars did this, but it's kind of an isometric. It's not a side scroller.
Yeah.
So it's a Smash TV looking thing. Like
I do like Smash TV.
Okay, yeah, and me too. I just feel like this is something that got the Contra skin put on it.
Likely, sure.
So I don't know. I should be more excited about that. I should possibly be even more excited about Cadence of Hyrule, but that thing's out. Like I go buy it right now. So I don't I'm excited for it. I kind of want it. I never played Crypt of the Necrodancer. Did you?
No, did not.
Okay, so neither of us know.
I don't.
This Dark Crystal thing?
That is the one thing out of the Direct that I actually was interested in.
Okay, so talk about it. This just made me feel like I should definitely finally watch that movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you should definitely watch the Dark Crystal.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
your kids will freaking love the Dark Crystal.
Get it out of your system. Yeah, no, I know. I've missed it. I'm bad.
It's not my favorite movie by any chance, but it's
the best.
It's you got it. No,
it's a Jim Henson movie. Like I should have seen it by now.
Yeah, it's a really good one too. It's one that when you watch it, you will go, man, I should have watched this a long time ago. It's one of those movies where you go, how did this one get past me? Like, how did I not see this movie?
I do. When I first heard of that, it was in college, I think. So it was really late, where I had heard zero things about it for the longest time. So
crazy.
Somehow it did fly under my radar. I have no idea how.
Oh yeah, I think.
But yes, the fact that I haven't rectified that is also baffling.
No, and it's something that you and the kids will really enjoy. I think. Well, the kids will really enjoy it. I think.
So maybe I'll finally do that. I am interested in how they're rebooting the franchise because I heard so many things about it. Netflix is doing that.
Yeah, it's a little terrified.
What do you know about this game then? Like it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me what I saw.
Well, I mean, as far as I can tell, it's a strategy game, right? It's like XCOM-y in a way.
Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics.
Yeah, so it's sure. Okay, so I think it's going to be closer to maybe Clash of Heroes type thing. Or maybe actually, you know what?
Is Clash of Heroes a tactics game? Is that what I've been playing?
I don't know. I think it's tactics. I call them tactics. I don't
tactics.
know. I don't know what this game is going to be. I don't know. It's interesting though, and I don't I don't know if it's one of those games where you have like this is stupid. Everything I'm saying is dumb. I don't know anything.
I don't think we know anything about this game.
I don't know anything about it.
The way the trailer made it look was that there were like Netflix hooks in it. And I don't know if that's actually what's happening or if that's just the trailer. They were showing some stuff from the Netflix and being like, and this is a game based on that. They put it together in a way that I feel like is you come to expect something that might not be there.
Yeah,
so,
this could be Bender Snitch. I don't know. But with the Dark Crystal license that it's going to be like a tactics, XCOM, something game like that. It's isometric. Yeah, I'm super into it. I want to check it out. I'm curious what it's going to be.
Okay. I was going past that even.
Okay.
Did I get this right? John Romero's new game showed up in the Direct?
I did not see this.
Is that where that showed up?
I
Empire of Sin? Maybe. Did I get that wrong?
Clearly missed it, which is likely. I didn't watch it.
Okay, well, I could be wrong. I mean, this is going to be on Switch. Not positive if it showed up in the Direct, but John Romero's new game is called Empire of Sin. The trailer is fantastic. Trailer of show, maybe even. It's just really beautiful. Yeah, it's just really cool. It's, let's see, XCOM set in 1920s Chicago is the pitch. Turn-based combat strategy game.
Okay.
Prohibition era gangsters.
Okay. I'm in.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
No, you're done. Done.
And it's John Romero, so the devil's going to show up at some point. And it's coming to everything besides Switch. So
I just want to. I'm not going to let this go.
Okay.
I think that last thing I want to mention about the Nintendo Direct is that they announced.
Oh no! Don't let this go. Yeah, no. Take them to task.
Yeah, they
for their missed opportunities.
That's right. Nintendo and CD Projekt Red really screwed the pooch on this one. How do you not call it the Switcher 3? How?
If you don't care about games or people, or
That's right.
anything.
I used to think Cyberpunk 2070, 2088, 2040, whatever the hell that game is called.
77.
Yeah, Cyberpunk Keanu Reeves edition was going to be good, but now it's probably going to be crap.
They should have called it Switcher Punk.
They should have called it Cyberpunk Mnemonic.
If I ever started a restaurant, I always wanted to name it Johnny Mnemonics.
Johnny Mnemonics.
I don't even know how you say that, but it'd be like, but you don't pronounce that part. So you would probably still say Johnny Mnemonics, but it'd be like,
Johnny
at the beginning, because delicious food. And that's all we have for E3 this week, everybody. Stay tuned next week when we create a Ghost Part 3 of E3 and just make stuff up.
That's right. I'm excited for it. We are going to have some really interesting news from companies you may not have ever heard of.
They don't exist.
Don't they?
You can find us at podcast@0hitpoints.com, wherein the website also exists, 0hitpoints.com. Or you can find us on Thursdays, where we talk about movies. Book Club for Movies. This week, not a single movie.
No, not.
Well, actually, I don't know. You sometimes bring up TV during the movie shows, so
maybe I'll bring up a movie.
It wouldn't surprise me if you're like, hey, what about this movie during the TV show?
It's funny, I do have a movie written down.
I knew it. See?
I won't do it.
So come back for that. It'll be fun. It's part 2. Just see how it ends. See who wins this time. I want to know.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm excited. Bye!